Hello and happy day to everybody, and welcome to PDP, Personal Development Productions, where
Woo!
we discuss personal development and how you can become the best version of yourself. So before we get started, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel, put some comments there, and share with your friends. So today we're going to be talking about celebrating the success of others and why that's important. So let's get started with my partners. I didn't introduce them. My apologies, because I just assumed you already knew them. So first of all, I'm going to start with Dr. Lester Bailey. Hello, Dr. Lester Bailey. How are you today?
Fantastic.
Dr. Lester Bailey, yes. And Kelly Chiasson, Mamapreneur. How are you?
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous.
Awesome. So tell us, I'm going to go with Lester. Lester, tell us, why should we celebrate others' success?
Most of the times when we're celebrating others, we're actually celebrating ourselves. When you can see the accomplishments of so many people, imagine being around the Wright brothers at the time when they're doing that first flight, and all of a sudden you're not thinking that when you get on a plane later on today or later on this year, that if it hadn't been for somebody supporting them at that time, you may still be walking or driving to your location. Or how about this guy by the name of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates? If you're watching this on the computer, if it hadn't been for someone looking at them, celebrating them, pushing them on, your communication still may be with Alexander Graham Bell, whereas you had a can and a string, and you would have to communicate with someone. Celebrating the okay, not mention the hearing. Celebrating someone else's accomplishments often push you to do things that you never believed that you could do. When you are looking at how can I do something? Remember that first time that somebody was driving a car and you're like, oh, I can do this. This will be nothing. And you got in that car and all of a sudden your friend nervousness came around you. It says, okay, I'm starting and I'm about to pull off. And you push that gas pedal just a little bit, too hard. And that car jerked. And then somebody said, that person that was sitting up and looking at you said, okay, you got this. It's all right. You can make this. I did it. You can. I know a lot of us don't believe because somebody says, I did it, you can. But when you celebrate that person who's accomplishing something and they're helping you to accomplish a goal, hey, that's everything, because we're behind the people that we're behind. There's an old statement that always says, you're standing on shoulders of others. If it hadn't been for somebody celebrating them, you wouldn't be able to celebrate yourself or the next person who is now standing on your shoulders of your success. Mamapreneur, some of your thoughts, perspective.
I like supporting and celebrating success. And it's true, when you talk about when we celebrate other people, we celebrate ourselves. Just when we lift others up, we lift up ourselves. So celebrating success, we live in a world that constantly pushes us to achieve greater successes constantly, always looking for the next goal. So when we take the time to actually support the actions that allow us to reach these goals, support the actions of others who are working and actively pursuing their goals, and we celebrate their successes, it's a great reflection because it's a representation of the work that has been done to date, what has happened for this achievement to take place. And there's going to be more to come. But, it's often forgotten what it took to get to where someone has landed. You see the end result, or I guess not the end result, but you see where a person is now, like here and now in your current setting, and not really. I mean, I think some people do, depending on how in tune you are. You realize that they didn't just get there, but for a lot of people, it's easy to it's just tunnel vision. Oh my God, look at what they're doing. And you're not necessarily taking into an account the challenges that they pulled through to get to what's being celebrated when you're observing that or a part of it. And it's important to mark the milestones in our journey, personally and professionally, because it's those achievements that inspire us to keep going. And it's celebrating those successes and supporting our own successes and those of others that inspire others to want to do the same. It's amazing that ripple effect. You know, it's like you light one match and you touch a bunch of, spark a bunch of other little fires, and you just watch it grow, and it's fantastic. So, precisely the milestones we celebrate, how we choose to celebrate, how we choose to support, really is a great reflection of the choices, in my opinion, that we're making in our own life. Our ability to show up and support and celebrate is a great reflection of how we see ourselves and where we are growing personally. So I love supporting and celebrating other people. I'm a huge fan of supporting and celebrating myself. And yeah, I like this conversation. This is a good thing.
I agree with you. It is a good thing. It's, celebrating others' success. You never know, just by telling somebody that they did an amazing job, how much that means to them. Because sometimes people need to hear it. They need that little push to let them know that there are people listening. There are people that can see their success. And, we don't have to rely on that as individuals, but sometimes it's just good to hear it, right? Sometimes we just need it. So I love celebrating other people's successes. I love to call it out. People sometimes don't even know that I can see what they're doing, right? And it's happened to us here at the show. There are people that have been watching our show since the beginning, and I didn't even know. And they'll call me up and say, hey, we've been watching your show. You've really made a difference in my life. This is what you guys have done. And it's amazing to really know, to realize that happens all the time. You never know who's watching, right? You never know who really can see that you're making such an amazing difference. So, when you do that, what you're doing is solidifying strong relationships as well. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Those are the people that are genuine. And somebody gives you just that, hey, you look awesome today, or hey, you said something last week and it was really amazing, and you're doing an amazing job at what you're trying to the goals that you're trying to reach. Those little things, the relationship that you're creating by planting those seeds, and it just really helps you in the future. And we don't even realize we're doing it. If you're genuine, you don't even realize you're doing it. You're not doing it for any other purpose than to really help others. I can tell you, I have people that remember me from before I was a paralegal, and they're like, oh, I remember when you started, and, I've been watching what you're doing, and, I have referrals for you. I'm like, really? Really? I haven't talked to you in so long. Oh no, but you were always willing to talk to me before, and I never forgot it. I love hearing stuff like that, and I didn't expect anything. And I don't have expectations. When I'm out there saying to people that they're awesome, it's because I really feel that they're awesome. Right. And it's hard to distinguish between those that are saying it that are genuine, and those that are saying it that have an underlying meaning to why they're saying it. So my only caution is, look at why somebody is coming to you and complimenting you or celebrating your success. I hate to be the negative one, but it's the truth. It's the truth, because there are times when people are just really out for themselves, right? We really want to surround ourselves with those people that lift us up, right? You have to surround yourself with people in a circle that are cheering you on, whether you know it or not. And so celebrating success of others, hey, I love it. I love to see people in my circle succeed. I love to see people that I haven't talked to in years, from high school, middle school, even kindergarten. When I look at their lives now, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is absolutely awesome. And then I reach out to them randomly, and they're like, oh, Samantha Glass, I haven't seen you since kindergarten. I did that with someone actually earlier today, and they were shocked. Like, oh my gosh, you remember me? Yeah, I remember you, but I don't know you now. I remember you as that little kid that was playing with the sand and throwing the sand at Billy. But what I see of you now is, wow, you've really come a long way from throwing sand at Billy. So really, the point of what I'm saying is that you never know. You never know what people are going to do. You never know what your words, even if it's just, hey, you're doing awesome. You never know the impact that has on someone's life, because we only see a person in a really short segment. It's just a spotlight of something that they're doing. We don't know what's going on in the background. They could be having really terrible problems in their life, depression, anxiety. You don't know. So just one act of kindness, or just saying something to them, that can really make a difference. So let's keep celebrating success. Dr. Bailey?
I am proud of you. You are so amazing. It is nice to have you around me. Those words are so simple, and especially when they're heartfelt. I remember that I started on a journey of getting my health back in great shape, and I began walking. I just started stepping out there. And I know that first day, that first week, oh my goodness gracious, I was out there pushing it. I was pulling out my hair. For you all that don't know, I used to have hair out here. No, just kidding. But I was pulling out my hair, and I never thought that I could make it. So I decided to go out and to do this for 30 days. I was going to start a walking, just a simple 30 days. Wasn't nothing really particular, but you know how all of us, we start out December 31st saying, of course, watch me go. I'll be in good shape for the rest of the year. And by January 18th, we have all stopped. We have completed. We're not doing anything. But I kept pushing, and I got, past those 30 days. And then all of a sudden, I got to my 90th day. Understand, I gave up on 30. I just pushed for to my 90th day. I pushed and I pushed. And all of a sudden, on my 100th day, I received a gift of a t-shirt that celebrated me walking 100 days of exercise. Now, to someone that would be like, well, you just got a t-shirt. No, to me, that was the support. That was the joy. That was somebody sitting behind me, letting me know that I can keep going.
Right.
Now, with my crazy self, I didn't just do 100 days or 200 days or 300 days or 400 days or 500 days. I'm now over 600 days of doing what I started out to do. That was the hardest thing to do past day one. See, when you get a little support, you get someone to be able to say, you're good, you're the best. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to get there. I don't know how you were able to do that, but I've seen you grow. See, words like that, feelings like that, when they're coming out, especially as Samantha would say, when they're not with an underline behind it, you get this understanding that it's possible. I am possible. We are all possible because we're going to do it. Don't just talk about the things that you want to do. Don't let somebody's words fail you because you're not accepting them. Accept the gratitude. Accept being that person, because again, it's back to the shoulders. You are now that person that may help someone else achieve their goal. You don't know what their goal is. Professor here sits there all the time, and she remembers at one point in time, she was exercising her hiney part off, literally, and then slacked off. But then all of a sudden, she now sees someone else getting back into it. What did that tell her? Get my little support drink, get my little daily walk on, or my daily exercise on. That inspired her. Now, mind you, that's across the miles. We're 3,000 miles away from each other. And yet it was, you can do this wherever you are, because it takes nothing to be able to inspire someone, because as you're inspiring them, they're inspiring you. How did you get there? How did you move there? What is the next step that you want to do? The three of us had an opportunity to listen to this guy by the name, I believe his name is Sir John Chen.
Yes.
And when he says, you can do what I'm doing, you can be right there. Let me tell you how I did it. And here's someone that meager language. He couldn't really speak the language, Korean, and says, I'm going to learn this. Now he's a multi something heir. We won't say how much money he makes, but let me tell you, he's inspiring me to keep following him until I get what he has. And then, of course, like anybody else, What will I do more? Elon Musk went to the skies. He went out of this world. But yet, what did he do? No, Gabe, you can come. You can come in because
Hi,
Gabe is
Gabe.
inspiring
Okay,
us.
okay. Say hi to
Yeah.
everybody on YouTube.
I love you,
Hi,
boy.
Gabe.
He wants candy.
See, when you're looking at those little people who are right there, when you're looking at them and you give them those inspiring words, because they hear enough negativity, especially when you're a child. But when you inspire them to do, to grow, to move to the next level of life, they take that with them. They take it to a friend of theirs and they say, my mommy said, my daddy said, my uncle, my auntie, my friend said. That shows you where you're going next.
Mhm.
That shows you how important the words that are coming out of your mouth are. A friend of mine once made this quote: you can go along, but you can't grow along. I think that's just a Chiasson quote. It's so important for you to know what you do. If you want something that you've always done, you have to do what others have not. Inspire, so that way you can do something somebody else has not done for someone else. Mamapreneur, Miss Kelly.
Um, I love what both of you have said, and you know, everyone celebrates and supports in different ways, and there's different degrees to which it's needed and it'll be appreciated. Some people, I think, you know, find it hard to celebrate themselves and to celebrate their successes. But I think it's important to know that it is worth doing. And one of those is when we dwell on what is discouraging, what marker we didn't hit, what we haven't achieved to date, then we tend to be less inspired and motivated to actually keep going. But it's intrinsic to celebrate our successes. Like, we have to throw out if it's a big success or little success, because everyone counts. Those little celebrations, those little pushes of self-support or support of others, but starting with ourselves, ensure that we're going to keep going. Because when we feel that feeling of, you know, being happy with what we've accomplished and feeling good about what we've done, we actually want to feel that way again. So it's a very easy trick for our minds and our bodies and our brains to say, if I just celebrate some, well, nothing's really stupid, and that's a naughty word. Our kids aren't allowed to say it in our house, but I'm saying it here. But like something that someone would say, well, that's a stupid thing to celebrate. I don't know. Like, if you're not used to celebrating anything, I'd be like, okay, for the next 7 days, I'm going to make my bed, you know, every morning. Or after I'm going to tie it to when I brush my teeth. I don't know, pick something. And it might sound stupid to somebody else, but somebody else that's not in the habit of celebrating themselves and little successes, choose that and be like, okay, I'm just going to challenge myself here. Let's just see if I can do 3 days in a row. And then when you hit 3 days, you can be like, whoa, what? Who's that? Who's that, mom? Look at that. Look at that lady. Or look at that guy making his bed 3 days in a row. What? That gets exciting. And actually, what happens is our brains, when we support ourselves, when we celebrate and we feel that feel good feeling, our brains reduce. That's not the word, but they release a chemical. They release the endorphins of that feel good feeling. So scientifically speaking, like you can research this, that is what gives us that feel good feeling. That is what is going to guarantee, when you continue to celebrate yourself and little successes, you're going to have that feeling again and again and again and again. It's not going to go away. But that's the thing, is being committed to supporting your actions, celebrating you, and it's going to be much easier to build that habit than to be, you're not really celebrating all the things that suck, because that sucks. There's really like nothing fun about that. And that's just it. But the more we focus on the negative, the harder it's going to be to find the positives that deserve support and deserve success and deserve celebrations. And when we get good with doing that for ourselves, we get very, very good at doing that for others. Now, some people could say, and I'll throw it over here to you guys because I know we got to wrap up, but I know a number of people over the years, and some now, that can very easily celebrate everybody else and their mother. But when it comes to themselves, that is a struggle. And they can be like the over the top celebrators of other people's success and have a challenge within themselves. My experience personally with individuals that I've known over the years, the individuals that operated in that space, some of them have learned and do now celebrate themselves. And what that did is they never thought they could top how they support and celebrate others. But oddly enough, not surprisingly, but they were able to elevate how they showed up supporting and celebrating others. And they never thought that any of that could be topped, but they could. So it's amazing what that does. And it just, yeah, another show, another conversation. But I wanted to throw that in there because I love what you guys are saying. And you know what? It matters.
Yeah, I agree with you. You did say something about, not lingering on the negatives. But I also noticed that when people are down at the lowest point, those that really are supportive of them, my apologies, will come out of the woodwork and they'll be there to help, give you that helping hand to pull you out of the negative.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. And I want to give if you guys don't mind, a shout out to somebody. Is that okay here?
Woo! Yeah. Shout out!
So I'm going to give a shout out to one of my good friends and mentors, who's absolutely amazing. And he went through some rough patches in his life, and he's a great person and totally a good friend of mine, Mr. Scott McEachran. So I know you're going to be watching this later on. So I just wanted to shout out, and let you know how much I appreciate you, because honestly, as much as I've been there for you, you've been there for me. So it's a great example of, understanding that those that really care will be there. Right. And it's, yes, we celebrate success, but getting out of that rut, that is a success in itself. And we need to be able to realize that. Right. And I always get very emotional. I don't know what's going on here, but I think it's because I've suffered so much pain in my life that I realized that I've really had some really great supporters. And sometimes we forget to thank them. So a general thank you to all of those individuals that have always been very supportive. Sometimes we don't get the ability to say thank you to all of them just because, life is just crazy, but that's not an excuse. So thank you in general to everybody, and really note that, just this, again, going back to what I originally said, it's really just hey, you're awesome. Hey, good job. That really, really makes a difference, because sometimes we don't realize. It's true, Kelly. Like I can say to many people, sometimes I don't realize what I'm doing and that it's so great until somebody says, hey, yeah, that was awesome. Did you not realize that? I'm like, no, huh? What? I was just doing it for fun. But really, everything that we do that has a positive undertone really is amazing. And we need to keep going.
Back to your statement super quick, and then keep going. But that goes back to what you said, Sam, that we don't always see, we're not always aware of the individuals whose lives we impact.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we all impact somebody else's life. And as we impact their lives, make sure you let them know.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yes.
Who wants to go first? Mompreneur.
Final thoughts. What? Wow. I don't usually get left at a verbal stalemate. What? I'm gonna say, it was support and celebrating and how we show up. So I'm gonna say, keep in mind, look and be open and look for opportunities to celebrate and support what you are achieving currently, and celebrate that and do the same for others. That this single action of showing up specifically will ensure that you're going to repeat that feeling, and keep yourself on your path and on your journey going forward, whatever that may be.
Mine's very simple, and I'll let Lester close this out. Mine's very simple. It's actually going to be a challenge. And the challenge is this: reach out to one person that you see that's doing amazing things. Just let them know that they're amazing. That's all I would tell you, because it just takes a few seconds to pick up the phone or to send a message or an email to tell somebody. And once you do that, see how they react. And you'll see what we're saying is absolutely true. It's just that simple couple words that really can change a whole person's world. Lester?
Love it.
No matter how many mistakes you make or how slow your progress is in life, you're still ahead of everyone else. Celebrate those small things in your life. And I want to thank you all. Make sure you like, share, and hit that subscribe button, because it's important. I had to do that before I get this feeling of, boop. Take care.